This looks washed out as fuck. It didn't look like this before. Hello, YouTube. If you were one of the 5 people to watch my previous video about the Jacinda Ardern movie, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, a Jacinda Ardern story, then you may have been led to believe, based on the fact that that was a few weeks ago, that I had just packed up shop and given up YouTube again. And, oh, he's just releasing another video just to test it out, but he's completely slacked out again. Goodbye forever.
Bye, Felicia.
But you would be wrong. I am considering this Demotivator Opinion Season 2. Because I found that YouTubing is kind of something that I can't avoid doing. It's something that's part of me.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
I got, I guess, kind of like traumatized or triggered or, you know, whatever it is, being like such a lib.
Try to get attention, being triggered's all you have.
About all of the negativity and the intensity of doing YouTube, that I got really slack on it because I got very demotivated to the point that I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. But ever since I stopped doing it, it just kept digging at me and digging at me. So I decided that I would have a second season of my channel, so to speak. But for this version of it, I'm being very protective of my own mental health and of my own feelings. And it sounds very snowflakey, I suppose, because the internet's a very brutal place in which you're, it seems, not supposed to really care about other people's feelings or emotions or sensitivities or what have you.
Gonna cry?
Why do you even want to be on YouTube or on the internet if you're so sensitive and you can't handle these sorts of things?
Why are you gay?
It's an expression, like a creative output. It's not something I can really avoid. If I stop YouTubing, which I have done for like very long periods of time, it's always in the back of my mind. It's just digging at me. I'm like, God damn it, I gotta make a video. And then I pick up the camera and I'm like, this is hard. This is painful. I don't really want to do this. And so then I just leave it off for many more months and years.
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Again, I'm like, God damn it, I gotta do that. I don't understand it. So when I thought about coming back to doing YouTube, I just thought, how can I do it in a way that protects myself from going into the kind of like negative spirals of arguing with people and being combative, just having to battle about my opinions and feel like I'm always having to defend myself. I'm always having to deal with people. These are cheesy terms at this point, but like strawmanning me or gaslighting me. What's the easiest way for me to deal with that? And I thought, if I come back to it, then it would be an incredibly glacial and slow and relaxed schedule where there's very little pressure for me to actually get videos out there. And what I decided on was that I've got a minimum of at least 1 video a month. And that's it. That is my core schedule. There's no more pressure that I'm going to give to myself than that.
So who is gay?
And even then, that has been a lot because it's been like 3 weeks or whatever it's been since my last video. I've been feeling over the course of that time, when am I going to start that video? God, I got to do a video. No, 1 video a month thing doesn't even make a lot of sense. My channel has been dormant for so long. It's not like people are sitting around being like, when's it going to come out? I've just been waiting for the latest Demotivator Opinion video. It's not like CoffeeZilla or... That's all I can think of. Just like CoffeeZilla. People really want to see his videos. I guess ContraPoints, but the less I say about ContraPoints, the better. All that genocide enabling didn't sit very well with me. Too long didn't read, but about 5 months ago, she posted this screed addressing the Israel-Palestine situation, and it was an incredible example of toxic centrist liberalism, where she centered not the genocidal actions of the Israeli government and the thousands upon thousands of innocent people that have been killed for no clear reason, including endless amounts of children, but instead centered her view on criticism of leftists, and what I can only describe as a sort of leftist derangement syndrome. And it was very ironic because you can say all you want that people who are radically, but I don't think it's radical, pro-Palestine are hurting the cause by the way they talk about the issue, but to me that is incredibly secondary to criticisms of the actual genocide itself, and it was quite sad to see that that was the thing that she cared about. But that tends to happen with centrists and liberals, where they get criticized so much online that they take it personally, and then they center their criticism on just talking about people who they don't like in the way that they talk about the issue rather than actually noticing that there's a genocide going on. Strangely enough, ContraPoints' behavior on this issue gives shades of Contra's own arch nemesis J.K. Rowling, someone who's done some really impressive and great things that have inspired a lot of people, but just end up having points of view which are either very unhelpful or straight up harmful. But in J.K. Rowling's case, it's about trans people. So if you want to go read it, just look it up yourself. It's not really worth the price of admission.
Disappointed!
But that's what happens. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do things, and then I don't do things, and then I feel really bad about it. So I just continue putting a lot of pressure onto myself, and then I give it up and start feeling depressed and feeling really bad and negative. I can't get rid of it, and it's just like an endless cycle. So I'm just like, well, I might as well just do some videos, but make it really low pressure. 1 video a month. Oh, that's a lot of work. It's kind of weird that I've given myself this much pressure. My first video was 11th November 2015. It's been over 10 years since I uploaded my first video, and I never quite cracked 10,000 subscribers. So why have I not given up? I just don't understand it. Months and months and years of not uploading things. So I thought about making a video about Charlie Kirk's assassination. So I thought about making a video about Charlie Kirk's assassination, how he was killed. I don't know, when was he killed? In September? A little while ago now, 2 months-ish ago. No, just over 2 months. And the difference with how that was covered with other news stories about people being assassinated that didn't quite fit into this little box of this is this radical left-wing psychopath who killed Charlie Kirk to destroy free speech, and I still plan to make that video. But I was looking at November and I was like, November is slowly going away, November is disappearing, and I said I would do 1 video a month. This is not good. In order to get to the end of November and release a video, I had to think of a lesser topic, something not quite so important. And I came up with this. I'm a father now. I've got a son.
Do your duty. Make more babies. That's the lesson drawn out of 2 interesting stories over the last couple of days. First, a story yesterday that half of the kids in this country under 5 years old are minorities.
I'm not a father now. I've actually been a father since March because he was born in March. So at this point, he's almost 9 months old, and he's just getting into trying to walk, and he's sort of standing himself up, and he has recently gotten into crawling and all this sort of thing. But I just realized that there was something else entirely that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk about it now, and it's going to be completely edited. What about people who don't have kids? And this is actually very important because I used to be one of those people. It sounds so... Oh my god, my son is crying right now. My wife's got it. Should I go up there and give the milk? I might have to go give him his milk. Well, it sounds very condescending when I say, I used to be one of those people. I didn't mean it that way. But for a very long time, I did want to have a child. I'm a bit older now, so I kind of thought maybe that ship had flown, ships don't fly. That it was too late and that I wasn't going to have kids. And then the thing that's really difficult about that is, why do people have children? What is the purpose of having a kid? I don't have a really clear or great answer for that. My answer to it was always, it's part of the human experience. If you don't have a kid, you're just kind of missing out having that experience. Because you could say you want them to have a really good life, or to have a better life than yourself. But I think the best way to give a child a really good life is to never have them. Then none of that pressure exists. They were never born. And so that's the easiest way to give a child a really good life, is just to not give birth to them. So there has to be a reason for the childbirth age giving people to have babies. Otherwise, it's just an accident and you're just post hoc coming up with some reason as to why you should have had a baby or why you want to have a baby. So for me, because I already knew that I wanted to have kids, the best that I could come up with was that it's part of the human experience. Being a parent, you get to experience this person's life and trying your best to help it and shape it in positive ways, but you can't actually guarantee the future. You don't know if things are going to turn out good. You don't know, even of your own life, if something's going to turn out terrible. So there's no guarantee of any kind of thing. So it's just the experience of doing that, and then you do your best. All you can do is your best. You can't do anything else. But for a long time I thought, well, I've missed out on that experience and I'm not going to have that experience. But I can't think of any other reason to have kids than something that's like kind of selfish. I think that if it wasn't partly about yourself, then the human race would have gone extinct, unless it's just continuation of the species, because not being born is like the best way to not feel any pain. I guess it's like the totality of human experience or something. You believe that, existence itself has like value, which I think is very complicated. We get into very philosophical conversations of like existence versus not being alive. For me, I had to acknowledge there was a selfish aspect that I wanted to experience being a father. I think that's like, yeah, pretty much the reasoning. But it really sucked for a long time hearing people go on and on about how they had kids and sort of displaying and showing off all of these benchmarks of like, my child did this, my child did that, and now that I've got a kid, like, I really feel this, and having a kid has taught me this. People who don't have kids, I really feel for that, because like, I have been a person without a child like for a very long time. So I kind of like don't want to forget my roots, so to speak. Sounds weird because it's not like people who don't have kids are like an actual group that really like gathers together and gets to know each other. But I don't want to forget that. I don't want to forget what it's like to not have a child, because I don't want to become one of these people who's just like, I've got a kid, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on and on and on. The only thing I care about is like showing love and having a positive relationship and doing my best like for my actual child. It's not like a status symbol, or it's not like something that should make me into a different person fundamentally, because like I think I should be a better person to an extent. That sounds ridiculous. I mean, I think I should move on to the rest of the conversation. And I want to talk about this because, being a highly political person, when I actually had, well, I didn't have them, like my wife had them.
Only women get pregnant. You can have as many gender debates as you want. You can feel like a mouse for all I care. But you can't actually pretend anyone other than a biological female can have a baby.
Yeah, sure.
I was there and I was like involved in everything. But when he was born, I started thinking like, how does this situation interact with my understanding or views of the world, like the progressive and liberal opinions that I've had in the past? Does this back up my point of view? Does this make me think like, oh, I want to be more conservative? There's a lot of conversation in the political dialogue about becoming a parent and what that means. You go into your traditional family roles where the man is the breadwinner and the woman stays home, she's nurturing, and she follows her biological imperative.
Men are just like women and we should liberate ourselves. Really, how's that working? Super depressed. Young ladies are on medication like we've never seen before, and they're searching for something that does not exist because they're denying what is right in front of them. And if you want to go pursue your career, God bless you, that's okay. It's a free society. I'm not even shaming you into doing that. But guess what? Statistics show 90% of the women here in this room deep down would want a family more than anything else. And you want kids. And guess what? You can always pursue your career later.
I've seen a lot of these debates on things like the Whatever podcast. There's this guy, Andrew Wilson, who I think is one of the stupidest, most idiotic dumbasses I've ever seen, and I don't want to be mean, but he's literally just like this triggered little baby man-child who endlessly goes on about conservative family dynamics and being a Christian nationalist and how his woman sort of knows her place being the nurturer, and everyone has these roles, like the man has to be like this and the woman has to be like that, and then anytime it's challenged, he tries to bully women and he just gets really offended.
I will never be able to convince you of my worldview.
You won't.
I know. But the reason is not because I'm not a great orator or I don't make good points or I haven't said things which should be compelling to a person. But Charlie, I just think honestly you're too stupid to understand them.
So Andrew, can I sell you on my worldview?
Yes.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you
you lick
sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What is that?
You're a dyke. Don't talk about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby
What did I just say, dyke?
Your wife with the 3
Sorry,
baby
I'm sorry, dyke. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking?
Even though his wife has like 2 previous kids from different men, and he doesn't see why that doesn't make sense, that he is pretending like he's some sort of paragon of this like dumber, stupid, ridiculous Christian traditionalist point of view. I'm sorry, I just think that guy is an absolute joke. He's the worst debater I've ever heard, and everything he says is just causes you brain damage. The guy really sucks, and I could go on for a long time. Doesn't listen to people, and that's like his number one debate tactic is not listening. If you don't listen, it's really easy to debate people because you don't actually have to pay attention to what they say, and that means you always win. But moving on from that, when I had my son, I said it again.
Only women get pregnant. You can have as many.
I mean, when we had our son, I started thinking, does this challenge my progressive or feminist liking perspective?
There's a real reckoning that needs to be had with regard to the resentful feminists, because it is an ethos of resentment like Marxism. People become more conservative as they get older. It's like, that's one way of looking at it, and there is plenty of evidence for that. But another way of looking at it is that conservatism is the expression of maturity.
I have to say, it really strongly bolstered my agreement with feminism. We thought that we want to like equalize the amount of love and time that he has with his mother and with his father, so that he has a really sort of a rounded experience of nurturing from both of the parents.
Gay! Only women get pregnant.
And that we're not going to put these kinds of roles onto it that like, I'm the father and I bring home the bacon and I go out to work and I bring home the money and ooga booga. And that my wife, she's like the nurturer and the caregiver and she's like doing all the womanly things. And she looks after him all day while I go out to work and I toil in the fields and I do the drilling of the bitumen or whatever it is people do. But we thought it's just very important that he has an equal sense of the love from each parent. And that's really hard to do, if not impossible, in a really traditional structure. The traditional nuclear family, father does X, mother does X, or should I say Y, like to give it a bit more variety. Invariably, in that kind of structure, like the child is going to see that the father is kind of above the family unit. He's sort of looking down on everybody like a kind of god. And he's a bit aloof. Like they don't have that kind of emotional connection. The father is someone that you aspire to be and that you respect and that you want to emulate, but they're not really someone that you connect with on any particular level. They're not someone that you feel an emotional resonance with. And your mother is someone who you really care for because they've really cared for you, but you can see that your mother has to wear certain shoes and fit certain roles, and it's a little bit sad. It's kind of distant. And it's also impractical to have one parent do everything, and the woman could just repress all her dreams, hang around the house, look after the baby and child, and drink wine and get crunk on sadness. But we don't live in that world anymore. I know the traditionalists want to go back to that. They want to go back to the sad depression and sadness of the British colonial project. I'm just throwing out buzzwords right now. I just don't think it makes any sense for them to think that that is the world that we're in. That's what we need to go back to. It's really good to share these things. And I definitely found that. In the first 2 weeks after his birth, I had some leave, because in this country you get 2 weeks partner leave, and I'm a partner, so I got some leave. I was just helping to look after the baby. He was just a tiny little thing. By the way, it was 2 weeks unpaid leave, so we're not that progressive. But my work was kind enough to let me work half days for another 2 weeks after that. I can't remember how much time it was. But we just became very practical. When do I have to warm the milk? When do I have to do this? He would be awake for like 20 minutes at a time. I can't remember the scheduling of it. He'd sleep like an hour and a half or something, like 90 minutes, and be awake for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You become very practically minded. Every unit of time is just like, what unit of time can I use to clean this particular bottle? What unit of time do I have to sleep, to look after the baby? What unit of time do I have for any kind of free time for myself, or like actually looking at my phone? It's all like snap, 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 and you're very efficient. You just sort of automatically start doing all of these very practical things. It's a huge change in your mindset, because you're just really concerned about making sure that this little life keeps going, that you don't majorly screw up something. And it does make you like very sort of structured in that period of time. And now that he's 9 months old, I would say that that like you still maintain that kind of structure, but I think when they're a newborn, it's like a whole different thing. You're hyper vigilant. I feel like we became very egalitarian. It's kind of like a tag team. It's like really good teamwork, and you kind of put yourself aside because it's for a bigger project. It's like something that's above you or more important than you are. Do you maintain this level of discipline, and do you keep being this like hyper vigilant about what's happening? I would say no you don't. I would say I've become less and less structured, and things have become more loose, but that's kind of parallel to his development, that he's kind of exploring more and he's becoming more active, he's becoming more vocal, and he's becoming more interactive. There's a change in the dynamic where you're not just thinking like, I have to be there every single moment of every minute of every second, otherwise this being is like basically done for. Newborns are so completely defenseless. It becomes a bit more like, I can give a little bit of freedom, I can give a little bit of time, I can wait a little bit before I do things, but it feels very difficult because, yes, that could easily turn into neglect. And I can kind of see how people start leaving babies and just saying, oh no, they cry all the time, they always do that. Like, no, you don't have to worry about that. Or not paying attention to them. Yeah, they're a lot more physical now. It just gets more and more complicated. It's a very cool time. He's changing, he's growing, he's trying to stand on everything. I'm starting to think about baby proofing and like how he cannot smash his face on every surface that exists. And he's becoming very vocal. He's starting to talk, and he's saying things like mama, 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 and da 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 do do da 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 da. So he's beginning to get his language going. The next step is going to be him walking, and that's kind of terrifying. I feel like I'm just going through generic points of everything that parents have talked about since the beginning of time. Oh, I've got a kid now, yeah! Respect to me. I've got a friend, and when I saw him a while back and talked to him about how my wife was pregnant, and he's got 2 kids, I asked him, how does it change your experience to have children? And he said, you've got this precious thing which is so important to you, and you just want it to have the perfect life and just be like absolutely wonderful, and everything about it to be like the most amazing thing in the entire world. I've kind of experienced that with him being a newborn through some periods of time, but I also feel confused because you're often like, man, I wish I had more free time to do this. I wish I had time to do that. I can't do these different things because I've got this kid here. And maybe that's not a contradiction to the point that he was making, that you want them to really flourish, but there's also like a part of you that's like, why did I have this thing that's not too good, that is taking up all of this time when there's so many other things that I want to do? And the counter to that in my mind is that before he was born, I was not really doing anything. I was just kind of procrastinating from like doing stuff. So being a parent is just another thing to do, and I've still got all of those things in the background that I was procrastinating about, and I can keep trying to do those. That's something I'm doing right now by trying to make a video. And it's not like I'm doing the best job in the world of making videos, but I'm succeeding at making a video while having a child. Why do I sometimes think having a kid is getting in the way of me achieving my dreams, when it's like, I'm already old, I didn't achieve my dreams yet. Or I didn't achieve my dreams. Like, depends how negative you want to be. Sorry, I gotta go feed him. Then I'll finish the video. I'll feed him. So just to finish the video, there was one thing I wanted to talk about, which was I want him to have a really good life. No, I remember what it was. It's that I don't want to live by this conservative ideology of that my child has to fit into certain things and has to be a certain way. I want my child to be able to express himself. I want him to be the person that he wants to be. It's about listening, it's about understanding, and it's about doing the best you can do to be supportive. And I think that would be my guiding star, and hopefully it will be. I can't account for like what life has to offer or like what life does. It's kind of out of your control, but I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I think it's really helpful that he's incredibly cute and funny and amazing. Not that a different child that would have been born by my wife wouldn't also have been those things. I guess, like, yeah, a parent has to think their kid's the best, but he really is. I don't know, that's my spiel for the moment. I'll see you soon.